You might wonder though, is recursion only useful for those super mathematical examples like Fibonacci and factorial? Well, no, not at all. It has a lot of practical applications too. So here's one of them. This is the little pseudocode that would represent listing every file in a directory. And most importantly, it would also list the files in directories contained within this directory, and the files in directories that are in those directories, and the files that are in the directories that are in the directories that are in those directories, and so on. All it does is it first iterates over every file in the current directory, printing that file, but then it iterates over every folder in that directory and calls the same function on that folder. So if we had a folder called A that contained within it folders called B, C, and D, and files named 1, 2, 3, and 4, then this code would first print 1, 2, 3, and 4, because those are the files, but then it would call list files on B, and call list files on C, and call list files on D. And it would print out any files located in those folders as well. And if they also had directories, it would do the same thing again. It would print every file in those directories, and then run list files for every folder located inside B, C, and D. This example also gives a little glimpse at two more advanced topics called head recursion and tail recursion. Notice that the way I've written this function right now, it would first print all the files in the current folder, and then it would dive into the subfolders. So if we ran this, we would see all the files in directory first, followed by all the files in the first folder found within directory, followed by all the files found in the first folder within that folder, and so on. If I had reversed these though, then it would first print the files located in the deepest subfolder of directory, and the very last thing it would do is print the files located in the current directory itself. That's because it would be making that recursive function call at the beginning instead of at the end. Calling the recursive function as shown here at the end is called tail recursion, whereas if it was at the start, it would be called head recursion. Don't worry too much about that right now. I'm just mentioning that so that when you hear those terms later, they sound at least a little bit familiar.